We, the community of St. Pius X Seminary, are indeed glad to inform you that 11 students of third year theology were accepted as candidates for diaconate and the priesthood. This was done through the rite of admission to candidacy for the diaconate and the presbyterate. We congratulate these 11 students, 3 for the Diocese of Mysore, 1 for the Archdiocese of Bangalore, 1 for the Diocese of Kuditare, and 6 for the Archdiocese of Bombay, 2 of which are candidates for the permanent diaconate. In this short video feature, we want to present to you what this rite of admission to candidacy for the diaconate and presbyterate is all about and what does it mean for these candidates. So firstly, we would like to know what this rite is all about.
For a seminarian, this is the transition period from a lay state in preparing for a clerical state. Here, the seminarian is officially admitted by the church to be a candidate for diaconate and the presbyterate, that is the priesthood. This transition period is also same for a candidate of the permanent diaconate, who is also admitted officially by the church to be a candidate. Here, the seminarian and the candidate for the permanent diaconate reflects more closely on being poor, obedient, and chaste as he carries the burdens of joys and sorrows in the service of his ministry.
Let us now understand the origins of this rite.
The origins of the rite are in Art Pachandu. It's an apostolic letter containing norms for the diaconate and was published by Pope St. Paul VI on 15 August 1972. It states, since entrance into the clerical state is deferred until diaconate, they no longer exceeds the right of first tonsure, by which a layman used to become a cleric. But a new rite is introduced, by which one who aspires to the diaconate or priesthood publicly manifests his will to offer himself to God and the church, so that he may exercise a sacred order. It is especially fitting that the ministries of lector and acolyte should be entrusted to those who, as candidates for the order of diaconate or priesthood, decide to devote themselves to God and to the church in a special way.
What does the canon law actually have to say about this rite?
Canon 1034, Article 1. A person aspiring to the diaconate or presbyterate is not to be ordained unless he has been enrolled among the candidates through the liturgical rite of admission by the authority, for example, the local bishop.
Let us now try to understand what the liturgy of this rite was and how it was celebrated.
In the Mass, the rite begins by firstly calling out of candidates who are to be admitted as candidates for the diaconate and presbyterate, followed by an examination of 2 questions asked by bishop after having confidence in the favorable account of the candidate given by the formators in their testimony. In response to the Lord's call, do you resolve to complete your preparation so that in due time, through holy orders, you will be prepared to assume ministry within the church? Second, do you resolve to prepare yourself in mind and spirit to give faithful service to the Christ, the Lord, and his body, the church? In answering, I do, to these 2 questions, the candidate reaffirms to complete his preparation and makes a resolution to prepare himself not just in act but also in mind and spirit.
In the next section of the video, we would like you to understand what the Vestition ceremony is all about. A day prior to the rite of the candidacy, the 11 candidates were vested with the cassock by our rector Father Aniceto Pereira. So, what is the Vestition all about?
Vestition is a sacramental where the candidate to be admitted for diaconate and presbyterate receives the cassock as a blessing and gift of God to remind him always that in putting on the cassock, he is putting on Christ in mind and spirit as well. In the form of a prayer service, the rector leads the candidate to experience spiritually the roots of being vested in context to second book of Kings, chapter 2, verses 1 to 12, about Elisha who is willing to follow Elijah everywhere in order to receive Elijah's cloak that is manifested with the power of God. And in context to Gospel of John, chapter 21, verses 15 to 19, about Peter's love for Jesus and how he will be dressed upon later on, after the resurrection and ascension as the first pope of the church. Both the texts signify the vesting as a gift of God. More than a ceremony, the experience witnessed by each candidate is faith-filled and meaningful to their very lives as they willingly embark on the journey of preparation as a cleric.
Next, we have one of our candidates for the permanent diaconate who will explain to us what it means for him to be accepted as a candidate for the diaconate by the church.
Hi, this is Glenn Saldana, and I'd like to share a wonderful experience that I've just been through. Right from the time I was asked to write an application accepting candidacy, where I would be vested with a cassock, it was just like I went into a different world. Sometimes you just fail to have words to describe what it feels like to be in a situation like this. And here I am today, finally vested in a cassock. Yesterday evening, our rector, Father Aniceto, gave us a wonderful little talk, a prayer service. And in that he mentioned about Elisha receiving the mantle. And he compared this vestation with that. And it was such a wonderful feeling to be in right from last night. And it was so exciting that I just couldn't even fall off asleep, just dreaming what it would be like. Finally, this morning, when Bishop Percy blessed us and we were vested in a cassock, it was truly wonderful. And I'm still filled with that awe. I'm still filled with all the wonderful feelings, the blessings that I have received from the other family members. All of them have been so encouraging and giving me the strength to look forward to be ordained as a deacon. And this, I'm sure, I will do my best because I'm sure God is there with me, giving me the strength right through. Thank you.